Got great ideas, but no idea how to build a website? Get Bluehost. Their AI design tool creates high-quality WordPress sites super fast. Whether you're a blogger, influencer, or launching a side hustle, Bluehost helps boost your growth with built-in marketing and e-commerce tools. Upgrade to cloud to get 100% uptime and 24/7 security to stay online all the time. Why wait? You've got the vision. Make it real. Visit Bluehost.com to get started.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Real Life Real Crime Daily for Friday, February 24th, and I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agovino. Hey, guys.
Hey,
Everybody not in central lockup from New Orleans today. Raise your hand. That's me.
Yeah, I didn't get a lot of feedback from you guys on my video from Saturday.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
I saw it.
I'm glad you didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
My son actually took it. It's not my video, but
I can't wait to see it.
Apparently, when I arrived back late Saturday,
After reveling in the Mardi Gras,
it looked like I got approximately one item of clothing off per like 2 steps that I took toward the stairs and my bedroom. And so there's a video of my son just following my trail of clothing all the way up to the room and then opening the bedroom where I am passed out on the bed. My glasses are still on, and my dog is laying by my side, and my dog just kind of lifts his head up.
Hey, now we're going to make that bitch go viral. Y'all can see Mike Agovino.
Yeah, in my best look.
In your best Mardi Gras look.
Yeah, comatose.
You're allowed that. That happens in Louisiana during Mardi Gras.
That's right.
Well, I got an invite. I'm going to ride next year.
Good.
And,
Good.
Hopefully I'm going to ride next year.
Right.
We'll see how that goes. My wife rode in Iris, which she loved. I caught lots of beads. She caught a big pile of beads right on the head.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't good.
I used to, when I rode in the crew in Lafayette and did it inside the Cajun Dome, I would throw beads at people and leave welts on them.
By the way, I saved Peyton Manning's face on Saturday.
Yeah. Did you save it?
A big, thick necklace was coming, those big round beads was coming right at his face. He didn't see it coming, and I was below and to the right of him, and I leaped up and across and got my right hand on the beads and picked it off.
Well,
I got a half a thank you out of him.
You should be getting an NFL contract.
Yeah, I can run a 14.440. Is that good?
Yeah.
So I want to tell y'all this real quick. This is totally unscripted. We didn't plan on bringing you this, but many of you, especially if you're in the Louisiana area, are familiar with Dustin Poirier, UFC champion. He was in the town of Youngsville, which I believe he's from Youngsville, which is right outside of Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah, shout out to all the good cracklings of Boudin off that exit.
Yeah, so he was the king of that particular Mardi Gras parade this past weekend. And if you're familiar, I know a lot of you are familiar with Conor McGregor. He actually fought Conor McGregor and beat his ass twice last year. And one of the things McGregor had said to him after he was laying on the ground after being knocked out was, "Hey, but your wife still ends up in my DMs all the time." And
Really?
in only Conor McGregor style, which apparently his wife was DMing Conor McGregor. At least he was accusing her of doing that. So a guy thought it would be funny to make a sign that said, "Hey, get your wife out of my DMs," and hold it up as Poirier was going down the Mardi Gras route. So Poirier sees this, and he has a bead, and he acts like he's going to high-five the guy, and he says, "Hey, man, come here, get your bead." The guy walks up, and this guy's big now. He's a big built guy. He walks up to get the bead, and Poirier smacks him.
Really?
I mean, slaps the shit out of him. The guy and the truck keeps going, as he's going down the road. Now, if you're interested in checking that out, there's YouTube videos on it because somebody was videoing it with their cell phone, and they were right there. So
Poirier's about to write.
Yeah, so you never know what you'll see at Mardi Gras. You saw a UFC fighter smack the piss out of somebody.
That's a freaking Will Smith move.
Come on, right? I mean, he just slapped some of the
I'm surprised. I bet that guy's out getting a lot of sympathy across his own social for taking that slap.
Yeah, it was something to be seen. So just a little news for you we didn't even plan on bringing, folks.
All right, y'all. So Real Life, Real Crime Daily. We've been keeping you updated on the Madison Brooks case and those who are charged in it. One of the things that just came out was that a grand jury on Wednesday, February 22nd, indicted a teen on 2 counts of rape in the Madison Brooks case, and the court has released his name. Now, y'all, normally they don't release teenagers' names, but they're charging him as an adult. So court documents show that Desmond Carter, 17 years of age, of Walker, Louisiana, has formerly been charged with first-degree rape and third-degree rape of Brooks on January 15th. His picture has not yet been released, but the grand jury chose not to indict Carter on the charge of kidnapping. Real quick on that, I can't fathom. Jim and I and Mike were talking about it ahead of time, why he's charged with 2 counts of rape. Now, the first-degree rape in my time it was named aggravated rape. They changed it to first-degree rape since. That's a mandatory life in prison without probation or parole. So you know that charge is going to trial. The third-degree rape, I have no idea why they charged him with 2, unless he held her down or something while another person had sex, and that's purely speculation. So I mean, anyway, I just thought it was interesting and wanted to keep you updated on that. I want to throw another thing out there, T, and I'm not going to read this whole thing, but Unfiltered with Karen, our friend Karen Chawla, believe it or not, and this is LOPA, or Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency, is Real Life, Real Crimes Jam. We've always supported and raised money for them. But believe it or not, Madison Brooks, y'all, became an organ donor. And, because she was still alive when they got her to the hospital. And LOPA comes in, they take care of these families, and they help them make the toughest decision ever, but they take care of them afterwards. But check this out. There was a foundation that was started for Madison Brooks, and they are going to start running a billboard promoting Madison's foundation, which supports organ donation, right? And it was supposed to start on March the 1st. It's in New York Times Square. It's supposed to start on March the 1st, but they were able to finish the commercial early. And it said Brooks' mother and the director of Madison Brooks Foundation, Ashley Balstart. So they're going to have it start running today. And big things are happening and unfolding in her legacy, and her life will be honored for everything she believed in.
I think it's a beautiful thing.
And y'all can go check out Unfiltered on Karen Chawla to read the rest of it. There's a lot more to it. I think it's a beautiful thing that came out of a horrible tragedy. Desmond Carter, 17 years old. Now you know the third person charged.
Wow. Now,
right.
Separate grand jury again. We'll look at this versus.
Absolutely. Each defendant will have their own grand jury.
Right. And I do want to mention that we linked the LOPA Madison Brooks Foundation to our new Facebook page for Real Life, Real Crime Daily. So you can go there if you're interested in checking it out.
It's just a big deal. Out of a tragedy, hopefully someone else will get to live.
And there's an ad on one of those spectaculars in Times Square today?
Yes.
Wow.
And it's going to run 20 hours a day. Not the whole time, but however long that is for 20 hours a day,
loop.
Or 3 months.
Wow.
Can you believe that? And
for 3 months?
3 months.
Those things are unbelievably expensive.
Exactly.
Because of the eyeballs that they capture where they are. Those are the most expensive outdoor placements in the country.
Yeah. And
you can't buy more expensive. And they're all spectaculars. They're not traditional size outdoor.
Right.
Ads.
And so this foundation, I'm sure, is a nonprofit, but I know the Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency, who was vital in helping them set up the foundation. And her being a hero, because she is a hero or her family being the heroes if they had to make the decision on the organ donation, that being up in New York Times Square for that long, it just promoting organ donation awareness. You'll never know how many thousands of lives.
That's a big deal.
Right?
That's a big deal.
Jeez.
And I believe iHeart owns the Spectacolor, used to be the name of that company. Right. I think iHeart
I could
owns
see
those
right?
placements. So it sounds like they probably donated.
I've been there. I mean, it's got to be that.
Oh, it's incredible.
Big one, right? Yeah. So
well, it's
kind of like
a whole
triangular looking
bunch of different different sizes, different capabilities. Right. I mean, it's really a state of the art outdoor. Anyway, digital experience. So
that's a beautiful thing, y'all. And maybe when that ad starts running, we'll maybe we can post a link to it or something, Jim.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. God bless you, Madison Brooks.
All right. So everybody out there has their first real life, real crime daily homework assignment,
which is
everybody has to watch the Netflix series Murdaugh Murders, A Southern Scandal, which just dropped yesterday. Jim apparently did not go to sleep last night because he was up watching it all night. Right. And
it was crazy.
Was busy ruining all the surprises for me a few minutes ago. But we will devote for next Wednesday's show. So you guys have a 5-6 days to binge for everybody to get up to speed on it. But we will bring you full review of the series. Speaking of the Murdaugh scandal, this week has been the defense's opportunity to tell their side of the story.
Do you believe that he's actually going to take the stand today?
I mean, they got to be so desperate to pull
Probably have nothing to lose. I mean, they are desperate.
I mean, if the defense is honest, and you know that, did you see the Haputlian pulling looked like he was pointing the gun at
Did you see that? He pointed at the prosecutor and said, tempting or something like that. I'm like, I'm going to put that bitch in jail for aggravated assault.
I bet that's never been done.
I mean, in Louisiana, the assault is the threat and everywhere else it's the battery. But aggravated assault, if I was a prosecutor, I'd have locked his
And he was
ass
handed
up.
the gun by Alec Baldwin in the courtroom.
Shit. I'm not even talking about that dude's charges getting dropped down. I already knew that.
So bad. Look, the only real material thing, and I don't even know if it qualifies as material, but we got to see Buster Murdaugh up close and personal this week as Buster took the stand to more or less defend his father and help support this narrative that the defense is desperately trying to advance, that, this was the all-American family that was, incredibly tight, et cetera. So
let's see how that works out for you, Buster.
And that's, that narrative is, the attorneys are insisting that he was a doting father and a great husband. He was visiting his ailing mother when, at the time of the murders, which, I think we've all done the mobile phone evidence timelines, the trip to mom's caretaker saying you weren't here 40 minutes, you were here 20 minutes, and by the way, you had the tarp / raincoat. I mean, it just. I don't know what he has to lose at this point in taking the stand. So if he could somehow explain anything here, but Buster, helped the defense to whatever degree they could be helped. He came off, I think, as genuine. He was fighting tears. This is all on Tuesday. He replayed what happened when his dad made the call to him to tell him that his mother and brother had been shot.
Right.
And he was not asked about his father's guilt or innocence, which is...
Let me tell you what that is. That is a courtroom tactic. When you have 12 jurors sitting up there, you're throwing shit at the wall, hoping something sticks. And they're throwing this kid's emotions up there and hoping one of those parents or whatever on the jury has a little sympathy for him and votes to acquit.
Yeah, well,
let me know how it works out for you,
Buster. Here's how bold I am on the acquittal at this point.
Yeah.
If Murdaugh is acquitted in this trial, and I would say that Vanderbilt has a better chance of winning the NCAA football championship next year than Murdaugh has of winning, of being acquitted here.
So that would be a 0% chance.
Wait. But
for those non-Commodore fans.
I just came up with a way we can get super, super rich. I bet you there are Vegas odds on guilty or not guilty. So if it's like 27 million to 1, we just mortgage Mike's house and we'll bet 30 million and we'll win it like $300 bucks. Yeah. $300.
That's right.
Those are Vandy's odds, I think.
His ass are, right. His ass are going to prison.
Well,
period.
If somehow he was that lucky, he still has all of these financial crimes, and it's
my prediction.
It's over.
It's like Mr. T in Rocky 3 prediction. Pain. He's gonna kill himself. I'm not advocating it.
He's not very good at doing that.
I know.
That's the problem.
But this time
he's 0 for 1. He's 0 for 1 lifetime.
He'll be in a cell by himself with a sheet, and hopefully he can tie a knot.
He'll probably recruit a better.
I'm not
person
saying
to help
advocating
with it
suicide, but whatever.
Oh Lord.
Well,
hell or jail doesn't matter. Right?
In Canada, it's like the number 2 killer of people age 55. Euthanasia is legal in Canada.
Really?
So you could just say, "Hey, we had a bad show Wednesday. That's it." And boom, and you're fine.
Wait, what does that do for life insurance policies?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to Canada. I'm gonna take
have to look that.
I'm gonna take out 100. I'm gonna borrow Mike's house money and take out an insurance policy.
It probably means a lot of companies won't write policies for Canadian citizens. So, so that is your homework assignment. Watch the Netflix series, and we'll have some fun with it next week. And the defense is saying they're going to wrap up here in the next couple of days, and so far they haven't brought anything to the table that I think in any way should influence the verdict here.
Except for the firearm they pointed at the prosecutor.
That Alec Baldwin handed to.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glaze, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something. And all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/reallife. That's GOBBLE.com/real-life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser-cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gifts to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
All right, back to a little bit more of Mardi Gras news. A New York convicted sex offender was arrested along a parade route selling, you guessed it, candy. You can't make this stuff up. Morgan City police officers stopped a vendor during Mardi Gras on Monday, February 20th, and they asked if he had the proper permits to be selling not only novelty items, but candy. And no, we don't know what those novelty items were, but we'll let your imagination run wild. It was Mardi Gras after all. At first, officials said the man gave him a false name, but eventually he was identified as Thomas Duvall. Police said he did not have a permit, which is required to sell along any Mardi Gras parade route. Now, officers run his name, and Duvall came back to be a convicted sex offender out of the state of New York. That's a problem. Louisiana law prohibits him from distributing anything to children during holidays or special events like Mardi Gras. Officers contacted the St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office Sex Offender Division because Duvall told officers he was now living in Patterson, Louisiana. Investigators verified information that he was a 3-tier sex offender out of New York that failed to register with the St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office as required by law when he moved to Patterson. He also was not allowed to sell or distribute candy or gifts on Halloween or really any other public holiday, such as Mardi Gras. So Duvall was arrested. He was transported to the Morgan City jail, and he's charged with distributing candy or gifts on Halloween and other public holidays by sex offenders. Who knew that was even a charge?
What does that carry?
Yeah, apparently it doesn't say, but I would imagine a pretty lengthy sentence.
Hopefully, the Morgan City jail, before they shipped him to St. Mary's jail, where he's going to be housed. Hopefully, the Morgan City jail and at St. Mary's jail, somebody's listening to our show, and they give him a little candy of their own.
Yeah,
sex offenders. Everybody loves a sex offender in jail, right?
Yeah, and
a little Charleston chew to the,
or a little strawberry jelly for tossing salads or whatever. You got to make do what you got to do.
What's it said? 3-tier? What
it was
that's
3-tier.
That's in New York shit, Mike. You should know that answer.
I never got past the first tier, so I don't know what the third tier is.
I'm sure that's pretty serious.
Yeah, it's definitely more serious than the first tier or second tier. There's no doubt about that. It can't be good. There's no doubt. And the fact that he was selling candy is just so.
How did he get? I saw so in just one spin. A round of your body, you would see at least, 5-6 crimes being committed at any point in time. How did this guy get caught?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he was eye jamming some.
That might have been the situation. Yeah, they maybe creeping some people out, and they said, "Hey, you need to watch this guy." Maybe he's snapping pictures with his cell phone.
Video on that one.
Molester, yeah.
That's right. So we continue on with even more news. In Florida, there was a Florida coach who allegedly filmed sex acts between two teens, told the girls he liked minors. Now, sports coaches accused of filming them, engaging actually in sex act. On Monday, Yuneski Martinez, 37 of Weston, was arrested on charges including offenses against students by an authority figure, solicitation of a child to engage in an act that constitutes sexual battery by a custodial authority, and promoting a sexual performance by a child, according to the City of Doral Police Department. Ramirez Martinez was a part-time security monitor and sports coach at a upper school. Calling the coach extremely dangerous, the police chief, Edwin Lopez, said this is somebody who's victimizing students, preying on them, taking advantage of the students. Calling the coach extremely dangerous, Doral police chief. Fuck, I did it again. Calling the coach extremely dangerous, Doral police chief Edwin Lopez said this is someone who's victimizing students, who's preying on them, taking advantage of them hormonally, dealing with the pressure of social media, the pressure of different relationships. You're an authority figure in the school. You're supposed to coach. You're supposed to mentor. You're supposed to guide these young men and women into the next phase of life, and you're taking advantage of them. For us, it gets no worse than that. Now, what did he do? On February 14th, Valentine's Day, Ramirez Martinez allegedly approached two students at the school and asked the female student if she was going to perform oral sex on the other student, according to the police report. He said he could take them to a private room so, hey, they could do whatever they want. He allegedly took the teens into a TV production room and told them they could do it while he waited in an adjacent room, which had a two-way window. Now, video from the room allegedly showed Ramirez Martinez filming the teens on his phone through the window as one of the teens performs a sex act on the other. The subject then entered the adjacent room, gave Juvenile 2 a fist bump, and then encouraged both individuals not to fall in love because they are too young.
Oh, my God.
He allegedly approached the female student the next day and said he saw what she had done with the other student and wanted her to do that to him. When she asked him if he understood that she was under 18, he said, yeah, I understand that, and that he likes minors like her. She said no, but he allegedly continued to ask her to perform the sex act on him. He then threatened her, saying he would tell the other teen that they were having sex if she didn't have sex with him. On February 17th, the teen told the principal what had happened, and the principal called the Doral police. Mr. Ramirez was immediately terminated as an employee with the downtown Doral Charter Upper School and has not been on school grounds since the initial report. He was arrested and taken to the say that again?
Guilford.
He was arrested and taken to the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center, where he remains held on a $40,000 bond.
If you're at that correctional center and you're a fan of Real Life Real Crime Daily, just like the asshole from Chester Molester on the parade route, please show this pedophile some love. Not in a good way.
Well, get this, Woody, because I know you're a big fan.
Yes, I am.
Ron Jeremy was declared mentally incompetent. We just spoke about Ron in an episode last week where I think you said he was a Hollywood D-lister, and I correctly pointed out that he would be an A-lister.
If you didn't listen last week, you just said Ron Jeremy. He was probably the greatest known porn star of the 70s and early 80s.
Star, period.
The star. Hey, you know what they call a star that graduates to the bottom of his class? A star.
Could you imagine? You're a female porn star. You're meeting with the casting people. You're finding out what your deal is, and then you could have some stud like Jim Chapman that's going to play opposite you, and all of a sudden they hand you the sheet and see It's Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, Ron Jeremy and Jim Chapman would be absolute opposites because Ron Jeremy has more hair on his back than Jim has on his entire body.
You got that right.
But you talk about the double whammy. You can't look at the guy because he's a pretty scary creature, and then you don't want to look down and see that war club that's about to do serious damage.
Third leg. Yeah.
Anyway, but he's apparently.
I don't know about your that comparison.
That would be both of us.
Apparently he's going to be out of commission for a little while. And Woody, I know you're going to be upset to learn this, but a Los Angeles judge declared that the porn performer is mentally incompetent to stand trial on the dozens of rape and sexual assault counts that he's charged with. Yeah. Right? So this is Superior Court Judge Ronald S. Harris. And he said in a hearing after reviewing reports from both prosecutors and Jeremy's defense that he has, quote, incurable neurocognitive decline from which he is unlikely to recover. Prosecutors asked that he be periodically reevaluated. So there, I guess, is a chance moving forward that he will be found not to be in neurocognitive decline, but doubt that. A hearing on placing the now 69-year-old Jeremy is whose legal name, by the way, is Ronald Hyatt. Ron Jeremy Ronald. I think Ronald Hyatt would have been possibly a better porn name than Ron Jeremy. Yeah. But that hearing on his placement will be held in a few weeks. So he's going to be put in a state hospital. He pled not guilty after a grand jury indicted him on 34 counts of sexual assault, including 12 counts of rape, and was planning on, at least apparently, pled not guilty, and his lawyers were planning on defending him. When he was arrested 2 years ago, I said that he would be found innocent of all charges, is what Stuart Goldfarb, his attorney, said. 2 years have passed, and with the additional discovery I received, I believe he would have been found innocent. It is unfortunate, due to mental condition, he will not go to trial and have the opportunity to clear his name.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I have something to say.
Jeremy has remained in jail since his arrest in 2020. I know Woody's over there Googling stuff, looking at pictures. I know.
First of all, you're going to see the pictures.
No, but he looks better. He looks better. That's arguably better than he ever looked.
Yeah, but you got to hear this shit because I just looked this up. You want to, his name, you're right, was Ronald Jeremy Hyde, right? Born March 12th, 1953 in Queens, New York. But you want to know what some of his other names are? RJ, that's okay. David Elliott, not bad. Big Daddy. And the Hedgehog.
Big Daddy.
The Hedgehog.
Yeah, he should have just gone by the Hedgehog.
Nickname Hedgehog. He's listed as one of the 50 top porn stars of all time, people. Put that in your spank bank.
50?
Go look up top 50.
50? He's got to be top 10.
I don't know.
Who are the 49 in front?
There's a lot more after. Maybe they're more popular. But I would... Maybe we can put a link up to these photos because they are fucking disturbing. The way he did then, the way he looked then was disturbing. The way he looked now, the Hedgehog.
We'll definitely put that on
Hedgehog really
Facebook.
Looks bad.
Well, the Hedgehog has been among the best known and most prolific actors in the porn industry for decades.
Right.
And he became a recognizable pop cultural novelty through reality shows, public appearances, and music videos. So he has stayed out there while he was starting to lose his mental capacities. He's long been a magnet for seekers of autographs and selfies, which is how he first encountered most of the women and girls aged 15 to 51 he's accused of assaulting between the 1990s all the way to 2019. According to transcripts of the grand jury testimony from women and girls obtained by the Associated Press, Jeremy is accused of luring them into small, secluded spaces, often the bathroom of a West Hollywood bar and grill that he frequents. He trapped them in there and sexually assault them there, allegedly. This leaves a couple of obvious questions. Woody now is showing me video. Stop. Put that away.
I can only...
Here are my obvious questions. Pay attention to my questions. They're important. Okay. When the big head goes incompetent, does the small head go incompetent?
I don't know. My shit has a brain of his own and wakes up half hour before I do. So I can't.
Right. So they're going to put him in a state hospital, right? So if he gets put in a co-ed state hospital, he'll be able to hang out with ladies.
The judge should order a chastity belt or something. I don't know what kind. It's
going to have to be a big one.
Look, I know all those listeners out there were looking up news of Ron Jeremy Nude, and I just did it. I am officially scarred for life. If you look that up.
Oh, my God. I'm not putting that on the vet.
Better than
no, we're not going to share that on the feed, but I know y'all are looking it up. Holy shit, look at that one.
Good God.
You're right.
I'm not looking.
You gotta look.
I had a black lab that could do that same thing. I did have a black lab that could do that same thing. Yeah, I think that's enough. That's enough on Ron Jeremy. Although they can't put him in a co-ed place.
No, they can't. I don't know. Shit, he might have done gay shit too. We don't know.
No, the crimes were all against women. That guy wasn't gay.
I'm saying,
hey, it was the 70s.
It was about as ungay as
or bisexual.
I don't think he
golden age of porn.
I don't think he did any of that. I just think they've got to. If they're putting him in a hospital, they got to figure out a way he's not going to get near any ladies.
I like that motherfucker up.
Wow. Okay, so from the ridiculous to
can't unsee that.
Still impressive, right?
From the ridiculous to the very serious. This is a really, really sad story. Crazy sad story. So there's this woman in Michigan who was adopted, and she made it her life's mission, as many adopted children later in life seem to do, to try and locate her biological mother, or find out at least the fate of her biological mother. And sadly, she learned that her biological mother was murdered by two notorious California serial killers in the mid-1980s. That's about as bad an end to a mission to try and find your long-lost mother as there can be. Her name is Cheryl Giant. Her mission was to know her mother, and it began when she was 10 years old. So she's been looking since she found out from her grandmother that she was adopted at age 10. She said, I was dealing with that internally, and it was such a struggle. She wrote a book about it called A Letter from Sherry. She didn't want to ask her adoptive parents because she loved them a lot, and she didn't want to hurt their feelings or offend them in any way. She said, I remember being little and being at the grocery store with my mom and just looking around at people, looking at women and saying to myself, I wonder if that's my mom.
That's crazy.
Authorities found and recovered her mother, Cheryl Okoro's remains, including a neck bone and 3 leg bones, at a rural Wiselyville, California property at the base of the Sierra Nevada mountains. The serial killers that and I'd never heard of these guys. Maybe you guys have. They apparently operated together. Leonard Lake and Charles Ng.
It's not the Hillside Stranglers, is it?
No, I don't believe so.
No, because they were related, weren't they?
They were cousins or something.
Yeah, so these guys, and this is a different area. So they tortured and killed as many as 25 women, men, and babies they abducted in the mid-1980s as part of a 6 serial killer fantasy. The killers hid and attempted to burn victims' bodies on this property where they found some of her mother's remains. So Lake and Ng also hid some of the victims in a bunker near that property. Lake had a fantasy of holding women captive, some for as much as 20 years before he carried out the crimes. An investigation into the crimes lasted nearly 5 weeks, according to court documents, during which time investigators discovered the thousands of bone and tooth fragments buried throughout their property.
We need to do the
Crimes of the Century series on these guys. We need to figure out more about these guys.
We have to research them.
So her mother, whose last name was Okoro, Cheryl Okoro, had 3 daughters before she died at age 26, including Giant, who was adopted by a Grand Rapids, Michigan couple in the 1970s. So she finally learned about her mother's fate in 2002, and has been in pursuit of justice on behalf of her mother ever since then. And so,
hate that.
Sad story out of
that story.
Michigan.
All those people, that who evidently were missing for all those years, hundreds of teeth or thousands of teeth, they said, and bones. That's crazy. I don't know how we don't know about that, Jim.
And Giant is still working this and fighting, because I guess what happened is that her mother was listed in the investigation as a prostitute, and
I'm sure. Sure, that's one of the reasons those people were sought after more as high risk victims. Not a lot of people are going to look for them.
Yeah, well, she might have been, but her
doesn't matter. It doesn't give me my excuse to kill her. Period.
Her daughter is hoping to get some evidence that proves that she wasn't. So we'll see what happens.
It's crazy.
Speaking of crazy, let's move back down. We've had a little bit of crazy Florida in this episode, and we're going back to crazy Florida. A woman is accused of murder after allegedly. Why do we have to put allegedly in? I watched this video. I don't know where allegedly comes from in this video, but opening fire during an argument inside a packed Uber. So this woman named Natalie Harrell has remained in custody at the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center since July 2016. Isn't that where the crazy teacher is too? Maybe she's met the teacher in there. She was ordered held without bond for second-degree murder in this July 23rd shooting death of a woman named Gladys Yvette Borsella. The fatal fight was caught on video and showed several people inside a rideshare vehicle as the pair began arguing, and Harrell allegedly opened fire. This is crazy. So if you, I don't know if you guys have watched the video of this, but it's a packed car. So there's a guy in the front seat who I think is her boyfriend. There's 2 rows, so it's a 3-row vehicle. She is in the second row, and she's turned around facing the third row, screaming back and forth at this other woman who's in the third row. She lunges forward from the second row to the front row to grab something, a gun,
Right.
then goes back into the second row and clearly on video shoots this
Allegedly,
this
it's
other
illegal.
allegedly shoots. Yeah, I allegedly watched her pull the trigger and allegedly watched the bullet travel through that.
The defense attorney would say it could be a doctorate or whatever. They'll prove it in court.
Well, her attorney, William M. Norris, is taking a rather interesting angle in her defense. So Harold was pregnant at the time of the shooting. I don't know if she knew she was pregnant at the time of the shooting. This happened in July. It's now February. I'm watching Woody move fingers.
Yeah. I just counted 7, y'all.
Woody just counted 7. So, and she's 8 months pregnant now. So she was only a month pregnant. She probably didn't know. I mean, if she knew she was having a baby, she might not have been as aggressive about pulling the trigger. But anyway, her attorney is arguing that his client's unborn child and Harold should immediately be released from jail because the fetus, quote, has not been charged with a criminal offense.
Oh, my God.
So a petition for habeas corpus, a little bit of law school for everyone, which is, I guess, defined a bunch of different ways, but it's your fundamental constitutional right to protection against unlawful imprisonment. So they are claiming that the unborn child is being unlawfully imprisoned.
Yeah.
So not that, the whole allegedly part, that's sort of given way to, no. This is about a fetus that has not been charged
That asshole
with a crime.
should be disbarred for wasting the court's time with this stupid shit.
That's the point the court seems to be making. So there's a lot of ridiculous back and forth here that I won't torture our audience with anymore. The response to the lawyer's habeas corpus attempt has been no, and that they have taken the Harrell, who is the alleged shooter, to at least 4 obstetrician appointments outside of the jail. She refused to attend a 5th, that she's been offered prenatal vitamins on a daily basis for months. She's refused the prenatal vitamins on more than one occasion, and as recently as January 16th. She's refused to allow nurses and medical providers to measure the fetal heart rate. She's had at least 11 medical visits since August, the response states. Her last appointment was inside the jail on February 17th. So, I mean, that's a lot of documentation, a lot of things that would lead one to believe that the court is actually, and the jail is actually providing lots of care for her fetus. So I don't know if this is somebody just trying to make it back in the paper, but don't think the fetus is going to get released, and don't know that they could release the fetus without releasing the mom.
Well, they're going to release it at 9 months and however many days, and they give her an hour with it, and they're going to take it and put it into a family member or foster care like all other babies that are born in prison, because that shit happens, y'all.
Hey, ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement. It's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
Pretty stupid. That lawyer is stupid, but let me tell you, my wife hates that word, but let me tell you.
Well, you're going to get to
stupider,
it. No, this is not stupider. This is our most important story.
I'm going to tell you the absolute most important story of the day. Mayor LaToya Cantrell is a dumbass. Okay, y'all, we were talking about her before the Mardi Gras.
That would be New Orleans.
And now this is the head of the New Orleans, the whole New Orleans metropolitan area. She's the head. Y'all voted her in. Mike, did you vote for her?
No, I wasn't here yet. I don't think.
Okay, well, if you vote for her again, we're going to have an issue. We're going to go fisticuffs. Y'all, as tradition on Lundi Gras, the mayor sits in front of City Hall, call Town Hall, City Hall, and they toast the kings and queens of the parades on the route. Mayor LaToya Cantrell was doing it. Actually, it was on Saturday, so she would have been doing it for the crew, the Tux, right? Crew of Tux parade, and our highly esteemed proper mayor was captured on video outside the historic Gallery Hall at a viewing stand, speaking into a microphone and giving a raised middle finger to what appears to be people on one of the passing floats. We love you. God bless you. I'll see you. Happy Mardi Gras. Enjoy the ride. So glad your ride was good. Love you, Cantrell can be heard saying in the video immediately before flipping the bird at the people on the float.
It's really loud, right? So I mean, if she yelled "fuck you," they might not have heard her.
Right. Everybody can see that.
So that's a universal language,
Universal language. So the chorus, everybody has phones now. I mean, you've seen it, and everybody's hit me up with the video and everything else. And a classy mayor comes back in her own defense and says, well, you know what, Mardi Gras is a time for satire and jest and shit like that, and it was just a joke, and I'm not really the classy, no trash whore that, I'm sorry, could I say that about a mayor? Yeah, fuck her. She flipped off. Dude, if you're the mayor of Buttland, you don't flip off people.
I would like to say I'm the mayor of Buttland, and I have never flipped anybody off.
Right?
As the mayor.
Anyway, y'all already know she's been under all kinds of scrutiny, accused of having an affair with a police officer that was assigned to her, and that guy was removed from his position on her detail following discoveries of problems with his pay. Cantrell denied the allegations, attributed them to sexism, and claimed they wouldn't have been made if she were a man. The officer's wife, however, claimed in a divorce petition that her husband admitted to the affair, and the local news channels independently verified that the unnamed woman in the petition was indeed the mayor. Now, her banging one of her subordinates was protecting her, and her flipping off the float riders and, you know, cutting the police force and everything else she's done, whatever. I'm not going to New Orleans anytime soon until they vote her ass out.
They're working on it.
I don't get it.
Well, and in speaking of New Orleans, obviously during Mardi Gras, that's a big opportunity for those that want to commit crime. And sadly, there was a shooting Sunday night along a Mardi Gras parade route. As a matter of fact, it was Bacchus, one of the most popular, if not the most popular.
Besides Endymion.
Yeah, no doubt about it. At 9:30 p.m. local time at the intersection of St. Charles Avenue and Turks Shore Street, a spokesperson for the NOPD said that 3 men and 2 women were shot, one of them being a young girl. The victims were all transported to the hospital. The girl and all but one of the victims was in stable condition. The remaining victim, one of the men, was actually pronounced dead. Now, so eventually a man was arrested for that. His name was Mansour, and I'm going to spell his last name, Mbodj. He's 21. He was actually arrested and accused of opening fire in the crowd at the Bacchus parade, killing 1 person, wounding 4 others. His bond is actually set at $1 million. Now, the recommended bond for this from the public defender was $500,000. The judge said no. He's getting $1 million bond. I have to believe that some of this is, look, you start shooting 5 people, 4 people, whatever it is in New Orleans during Mardi Gras, that's gonna affect tourism.
Sure.
And I think they're wanting to send a message that you don't need to be shooting at the Bacchus parade or you're not getting out of jail.
I agree, but to be an effective deterrent, it would have to be swift and certain, which that was. But the next one that shoots at Bacchus or wherever they're going to shoot at is not going to stop and think, they're going to raise my bond from $500,000 to $1 million if I pull this trigger. They don't give a damn about the bond. They can't make it anyway.
Right. And what basically officers are saying happened, an officer heard about a dozen shots and saw a man later identified as the assailant running down St. Charles Avenue. She pointed her gun at him, told him to get on the ground, and handcuffed him. And so $1 million bond for that guy. They actually doubled what the prosecutor was recommending. And I think that is to send a message.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, what I was seeing on the TV news reports was that, obviously that case notwithstanding, there was reduced crime this Mardi Gras versus others, and it's attendance up and crime down. So I think maybe that's just PR spin, but I think they're going to get a pretty good report out of here. First of all, the weather was gorgeous. I mean, it was just beautiful weather, people having a blast, and for the most part, a really peaceful, fun experience. Other than obviously, if you were in that area during Bacchus, but
the people that got murdered. But we told y'all on last week's episode that shit was going to happen.
Yeah,
unfortunate.
I mean,
it's horrible, not just unfortunate.
It really is. Our hearts go out to all those who were just down there to celebrate Mardi Gras and end up getting shot. So we got some breaking news last night, and of course we bring you breaking news here at Real Life Real Crime Daily, and today is no exception. A gunman has killed 3, including a child and a news reporter, and this story is rather strange, y'all. This comes out of Orange County, Florida.
Another Florida story. A man fatally shot a 20-year-old woman on Wednesday morning in Orange County, Florida. He returned to the scene later that day, went on a shooting spree, killed a TV news reporter who had been covering the original homicide and a 9-year-old at a nearby home. The gunman has been identified as Keith Melvin Moses, 19, and he also shot 2 other people in Pine Hills, Florida. Crazy.
Yeah, the mother of the 9-year-old and photographer who worked with the TV news reporter at Spectrum News in Orlando were both shot, and they were both in critical condition on Wednesday night. Now, Mr. Moses was in custody by Wednesday evening and charged with 1 count of murder in connection with the killing of the 20-year-old. And, of course, additional charges are expected. Now, it's unclear why the 5 victims were shot. The 20-year-old was an acquaintance of the gunman. However, they can't find any motive for the other people that he shot. Only the 20-year-old did he have any sort of relationship with that they've been able to discover so far. So we're going to stay on top of this. Really strange story in that he left the scene and then, assumedly could have got away, came back, shot a 9-year-old and others.
Left the scene and saw the news report live and went back and did it.
Bad day in Florida.
That's it. That's actually.
And probably the 9-year-old called a stray bullet.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what
that's why they haven't charged him yet with that murder, because they're going to ID the bullet back to the weapon that he used.
That's correct. And how to put the timeline into perspective here, folks, and how he could have presumably gotten away with it was at 11 o'clock, the original shooting took place. Right. He returned at 4 o'clock p.m.
Right.
And that's when he started shooting again.
And I guarantee you they've got that on video. The news reporter, before they got killed, murdered, got it on video.
Yeah, so we'll keep you updated on it. That was some breaking news that is still, still in its infancy stages, and they're still finding out information really by the hour on that one.
It's crazy.
I don't know if we break news. I think we more like sprain it.
Yeah, sprain.
I think we sprung
that
we might tear it like an ACL or something.
Yeah,
we could tear it.
Yeah.
I think we need to come up with
another term?
Something there. Well, if you've been with us since the beginning, so I think it was very first. Woody, you've been with, and Jim, you've been with us since the beginning too. I think that first week, we covered the story about the dad whose daughter was going to Sarah Lawrence College, and he basically turned her dormitory into a brothel and was making all of this money converting students into a life of prostitution. Well, he turned one of those victims into his assistant, his consigliere, for lack of a better term, and she has been sentenced to 54 months in prison based upon the role. So if you remember back, and this is such a baffling case, because I just don't know how a middle-aged guy comes in and takes control of a college dormitory. But a New York woman named Isabella Pollock, that is her name, she became a co-conspirator with Lawrence Ray. That's the guy's name who started the sex cult out of his daughter's dorm at the prestigious Sarah Lawrence College. She was sentenced to 54 months, as I said, in federal prison. Lawrence Ray's scheme began way back in 2010. So this thing had been going on for years and years. So back in 2010, he moved into his daughter's on-campus dorm room while she was a sophomore. He began giving, quote unquote, therapy sessions to his daughter's roommates to, quote, help them with psychological problems. During the sessions, Ray laid the groundwork for psychological conditioning that would eventually lead a bunch of them into sexual exploitation, verbal and physical abuse, extortion, forced labor, prostitution. You've heard about it all.
Crazy.
When classes ended that second semester, which was now 2011, several of Ray's daughter's roommates moved in with him into a separate apartment off campus. During that summer, the roommates began to introduce Ray to some of their other friends. So they played a big role in allowing him to expand his empire, and some of those girls who helped eventually began spending more time at the apartment themselves, and eventually became victims themselves. So Isabella Pollock, who's now 31 years of age, became the trusted enforcer, consigliere to Ray, helping him manipulate his daughter's friends at Sarah Lawrence, these other girls that they would get introduced to. She pleaded guilty in September to one count of conspiracy to commit money laundering, and she was sentenced in U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York. She's got to report to federal prison in about 2 months. She'd previously been charged with one count each of extortion, conspiracy, sex trafficking, conspiracy, racketeering, conspiracy, and money laundering. I mean, it sounds like going back to our mob episode, our mob lessons while we were doing the Lufthansa heist story, that this guy, Ray, basically created a criminal organization that was a metaphorical mob, and she was holding down the consigliere role within that mob. As far as Ray goes, prosecutors said he isolated his victims from their families, extorted approximately $1 million from at least 5 of them. That's $5 million right there. Forced certain victims to perform unpaid labor, and caused at least one victim to engage in commercial sexual acts. In one instance, he tied one of the victims to a chair, covered her head with a plastic bag, nearly suffocated her before making her give more than $500,000 she'd earned in forced prostitution. So, ugly story that has now run well over a decade in length, and Pollock is now headed to federal prison. Pollock's lawyers, in a letter to the federal judge before she was sentenced, said that Ray preyed upon her, that she was young, she was impressionable, he brainwashed her. If it were not for Ray's presence at Sarah Lawrence, that Isabella would not be here today. That certainly seems reasonable that she wouldn't be. She does not deserve jail time, the letter said. Her lawyers said that once Ray moved himself into their campus apartment, he became a domineering and manipulative monster, that Ray groomed Isabella, at first by listening and paying attention to her. Ray then became her lover and convinced her of the need to explore her sexuality. Isabella did whatever Ray directed her to do. And that is what his final sentence in the letter was. He exercised complete control over her. Despite the plea from her attorneys, she is not getting anything softer than the 56 months in federal prison that they are giving her. I don't know that there's anything nice to say at the end of this story.
No. That's it.
We'll keep you updated like we always do.
Takes all kinds to make the world go round. The dude evidently was a master manipulator, but he grew the organization so big, he had to get this little chick to be his underling, because pimping ain't easy.
That's right. So we've had a lot of messages on our Facebook page through Real Life Real Crime primarily.
Yeah.
And people have been asking us to kind of look into the Tyler Doyle case. And for those of you that may not be familiar, this is a missing boater out of South Carolina. He's actually been missing. I believe this is the 27th day that he's been missing. And I'm going to give you a little bit of the details. Tyler and a friend, they were putting out duck decoys in the marsh of South Carolina. Tyler brings a friend. He drops him off in a specific area, and then he moves away in the boat, and he was going to put out more decoys and kind of scout the area. Now, shortly afterwards, Tyler calls his friend, and he basically says the boat was having mechanical issues. He couldn't get the motor running, and it was taking on water. So the friend turns around. He calls 911. A fire rescue boat was dispatched to the scene, and it actually arrived on the scene in about 9 minutes. By the time it arrived, only a foot of the boat was showing above water. It was motor down, so it was pointing almost straight up. Imagine it like bobbing out there with only a foot of the front of that boat sticking out over water. The water temperature that day was 50 degrees and the air temperature was 39. So it was cold. Not only that, there was a small craft advisory. So they had some rough conditions out there for boating to begin with. Some people have thought there might be something to this. I will say that we've kind of looked it over, and to me, it doesn't appear. It appears to be a boating accident.
I've got so much experience in this area, right?
Yeah.
In the boats and everything. One time I had 5 boats in my yard. My wife's like, you got to get rid of one of them, right? But I have sunk many boats. One of my boats I sunk it at least 3 times. It's a small fishing skiff. And so you talk about the just the top point out of the water. I get that. But when it's small craft advisories, which means it's waves, the wind's blowing, your nose is probably running faster. You can lick it. It's cold. It's in the 30s and the water's in the 50s. At some point, even though you call for help, you're out there. You don't know how long it's going to take. He probably saw some land or something, went to swim for it, and succumbed to the cold temperatures of water. Problem with that is any tidal water area, like where you go duck hunting, you're going to have currents. And they move, the current ebbs and waves and all that good shit, sometimes stronger than others. And I can't tell you how many bodies I've drug out of these rivers and these swamps down here, right? And they're never where they go down at, because the further you go down, the stronger the current runs. So who knows? But I have prayers for his family. I don't see any foul play or anything that would indicate there's no motive. I mean, it's not like somebody's claiming insurance policies. I'm sure all that's being looked at. But 50-degree water, it'll probably take 30 days before he pops up.
Well, okay.
Yeah. It's just an awful situation.
Experienced boater, right? He's out doing
he's duck hunting.
Ducks.
Yeah.
So
communicating with a friend,
has an idea it's that cold, knows you're not going to last long in water that cold.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. He would have swam for it, right?
Well, or first move, put on a life jacket.
Swim, someone who's me would tell you that I'm a lifetime diver and everything else, and I know I'm supposed to wear a life jacket in a situation like this. I can tell you only one time in all my years of boating that I put on a life jacket. I was in Lake Marpole, and the storms come up real fast out there, and the lake's only 18 feet deep, and those waves got like 9 feet, and I thought I was going to die, so I put on a life jacket. But it was summertime. I don't know. Maybe he didn't have his life jacket. A lot of time, I'm going to be honest with you, but my small fishing boat, I can run it in the pitch black from my house on the island. There's no camps or anything down in the swamp where I'm going, and I never wore it.
Well, and I
never even had a life jacket, to be honest with you.
I don't know what the Florida law is on that, but in Louisiana, if you're fishing, for example, if you're running your boat, you've got to have your jacket on. But if you're anchored down, you can take your jacket off.
Yeah, but also too,
you just have to have it in the boat.
Well, the kill switch wouldn't even matter because his boat was sunk. But I don't know.
It wasn't even running.
He had talked. He talked to his friend, so he logically knew help was on the way.
Well, that's not true, because you can call 911. They say we're on our way. If you call 911, 911 should have kept him on the phone until he decided, fuck this, I'm going to swim forward or whatever.
Yeah,
so
but it was his friend who called 911, though, not him. So
I don't know.
It's unclear. It was unclear.
But it must not have been him or they ever kept him on the phone.
No, I thought it was his friend. I'm just thinking, what would I do in that situation? Water that cold? I think somebody's on the way. I put a life jacket on.
If you
try and stay on. I don't know how deep the water was, but if the engine's submerged and the front of the boat is above water,
that doesn't mean
pretty shallow.
No, it doesn't mean it's in shallow water. It means it's going down. So in the front of the boat, so you have the air pocket. I know this because one boat I sank 3 times. It doesn't matter how deep the water is; it'll stay up for a little while till that last air pocket pops out.
Yeah, they were there in 9 minutes after the call, so it probably didn't have time.
I don't know, but at the end of the day, it probably been Woody Overton. Oh shit! Moment. I don't have a life jacket, but I'm going to swim for it because I can make it, and I didn't make it.
And cold water will slow your heart rate down.
Yeah, instantly. But actually diving in and getting in that cold water, that cold, will take your breath away.
You got minutes.
You might dive in, but you might not even have a minute. You might dive in, and it takes your breath away, and you automatically drown.
Yeah. Awful situation. Hearts go out.
Prayer for him, y'all. I hope that at this point that it is just an accident, and there's no foul play involved.
There you go.
No matter how small your boat.
Yeah,
have the life preservers.
Don't
have
do
a
what
flare.
I used to do. Yeah.
I mean, that would have been helpful if he could have fired off a flare and put a life jacket on. But let's hope there's maybe some kind of
a life jacket. At least they found his body. Yeah.
What do you want to?
I just want
take us home.
I would say I'm blessed to be here with you boys.
Yeah, this was a fun one.
Yeah.
The Ron Jeremy. What did y'all think of the Ron Jeremy?
I'm blessed.
He didn't talk enough about.
I'm Scarred the Hedgehog. You got to go look it up. I know y'all are looking it up. You got to comment and look up the nude pics, y'all. You got to look it up. You'll understand why he's in the top 50 ever.
Right now, there's some porn producer scheming about doing a film from a mental institute with, with a retired porn star who's now crazy on the loose.
I don't care how old he get. That shit ain't getting that much smaller. They might could do like some geriatric porn or something with a crazy.
Yeah, but he might not be able to get blood to the end of it. There's
I think they make
circulation at some point.
Pills or pumps for that, don't they?
Oh, God.
And then they're probably not prioritizing his.
By the way, if you want to advertise with Real Life Real Crime Daily and you're what do they call them? Erectile dysfunction company. I'm not going to.
Cialis.
Like that Viagra.
Cialis.
We could just use my brand.
Yeah. Look, and we do want to say before we get out of here, we have a new Facebook page. It's Real Life Real Crime Daily. You just search that on Facebook, it'll pop it up. It's going to be very active, and everything we talk about, we're going to post little snippets that you'll really enjoy on Facebook. Might be pictures that we reference, videos we reference, whatever.
Yeah,
minus Ron Jeremy.
Sorry, I want to say because
we're gonna make you look for that.
Remiss on this. Stay tuned for some Real Life Real Crime Daily announcements. They're gonna be coming like next week, maybe next Friday's episode. They're huge, y'all. We love y'all. Y'all are supporting us. Our numbers don't lie. Yeah. Who knew, y'all? Almost 2 months ago, we'd have the success we're having. Right.
That's right.
So, but stay tuned for it. Big announcements coming, and you get to hear it then. Mike looks bewildered.
He's taking it all in.
What could this announcement be?
Oh, shit.
We'll tell you after the show.
We'll tell you after the show.
All right, I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agovino.
For Real Life Real Crime Daily, peace.
Show business.
O'Reilly.
You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.